They say a mother's heart never forgets. But no one tells you how painful it is when a child does. If you are listening to this, sit for a moment. Put your phone down, because this is not just my story. This could be yours, or mine, or the woman living next door who smiles every morning and cries every night. My name doesn't matter anymore. People stopped calling it years ago. Now they just call me the old lady at the end of the lane. But once I was someone's entire world. I still remember the night she was born. Rain was falling like the sky had cracked open. The hospital lights flickered. And when I heard that first cry, sharp and alive, my hands started shaking. "She's strong," the nurse said. I smiled through tears and whispered, "She has to be. I won't let this world break her." Her father died when she was 3. Just like that. A phone call, a white sheet, and silence that never left our house. From that day, I became 2 people, mother and father, strong and soft, provider and protector. I stitched clothes at night while she slept beside me on the floor. I skipped meals so she could eat twice. I learned how to smile in front of her and cry in the bathroom with the tap running so she wouldn't hear. Every scar on my hands has a reason. Every wrinkle on my face has a memory. When she had fever, I stayed awake all night counting her breaths. When she fell and scraped her knees, I kissed the wounds like my lips could heal bones. When she cried because children laughed at her torn shoes, I held her face and said, "One day they will respect you. I promise." And I meant it. She used to hold my finger while sleeping. If I tried to pull away, her grip would tighten, like she was afraid I would disappear. Funny how life works. As she grew older, the world opened its arms to her and slowly closed them on me. She was bright. Too bright for our small house, our quiet street, our simple life. Teachers praised her. Relatives pointed at her and said, "She will go far." And every time they said that, something inside me felt proud and afraid. When she left for college, she hugged me for exactly 10 seconds. 10. I remember counting. Her bag was heavier than her hug. "Call me when you reach," I said. She nodded, already half gone. That night, I cooked her favorite food even though she wasn't there. I don't know why. Habit, maybe. Hope, maybe. She called once that week. Then once the next. Then once a month. Then only when she needed something. Money. Documents. A favor. Never, "How are you?" Never, "Did you eat?" I told myself she was busy. I defended her to everyone. "She's building her life," I said. As she should. Years passed. Her voice changed. Her words became shorter. Her silences longer. When she got her first job, she didn't tell me herself. I found out through a neighbor's phone, scrolling through pictures of her smiling in an office I had never seen. She looked happy. That should have been enough. But why did it hurt so much? One winter, I slipped in the bathroom and couldn't stand up. I lay there for hours, staring at the ceiling fan, wondering if this was how people died. Alone. I called her number with shaking hands. It rang, and rang, and rang. No answer. Later that night, a message came. Sorry, busy today. That was it. No call back. No concern. I read that message again and again, trying to find love hidden between the words. There was none. Still, I waited. Because mothers wait, even when waiting breaks them. I stopped going to functions. People ask questions, and questions need answers. Where is your daughter? What does she do now? Why doesn't she come with you? I learned to smile and say, she's busy. Busy became my shield. On her birthday, I sent her a long message. I wrote about the day she was born, about the rain, about the promises I made to her tiny fingers. She replied with a heart emoji. Just one. That night, I slept holding my phone like it was her hand again. Then came the day that changed everything. It was an ordinary afternoon, the kind where nothing is supposed to happen. I was washing rice when my neighbor rushed in, breathless. Have you seen this? She asked, holding out her phone. On the screen was my daughter, dressed beautifully, laughing, surrounded by people I didn't know. And under the picture, words that pierced me deeper than any knife. Grateful for my journey. Built everything on my own. On my own. I felt something crack inside my chest. Not break. Crack. Because breaks can heal. Cracks just spread. That night, for the first time in my life, I didn't pray for her success. I prayed for her to remember me. And that is when I realized this story was no longer about a child growing away from her mother. It was about a mother slowly disappearing from her child's life. And I didn't know yet that the worst pain was still waiting. People think loneliness arrives loudly, with shouting, with doors slamming, with someone clearly walking away. They are wrong. Loneliness arrives quietly, like dust settling on furniture no one uses anymore, like a phone that stops ringing, like a name that slowly disappears from someone's mouth. After that day, the picture, the words on my own, I stopped asking questions. Not because I didn't care, but because every question felt like begging. I told myself, let her live. Don't hold her back with your tears. So I learned to live smaller. I woke up early, not because I had places to go, but because sleeping too long made the house feel emptier. I cooked less food. I spoke less. Even my thoughts learned how to whisper. Some evenings, I sat by the window and watched other daughters walk their mothers home from the market. They laughed. They argued. They held arms. I wondered when exactly my daughter stopped needing mine. I tried calling once. Just once. It rang. Then stopped. A message came minutes later. Can't talk. Meeting. I stared at the screen. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. What should a mother reply to that? Okay. Take care. No problem. I typed all three, deleted all three. In the end, I sent nothing. Silence has a way of becoming a habit. Weeks later, a letter arrived. Not handwritten. Official. Clean. Cold. It said she was sending money every month. Automatic transfer. No need to worry, she had written at the bottom. No need to worry. As if worry is something you switch off like a light. I didn't want her money. I wanted her voice cracking when she said, Amma. I wanted her to complain about her job. I wanted her to ask me silly questions like she used to. Still, I went to the bank and updated my passbook. The clerk smiled and said, You must be proud. Your daughter takes care of you. I smiled back. That night, I cried into the pillow so the walls wouldn't hear. Money started coming. Visits didn't. Festivals came and went. I lit lamps alone. I cut cakes alone. I ate sweets alone. Once, during a festival, I called her again. She answered. For 3 seconds, I forgot how to breathe. Hello, she said. Her voice was unfamiliar, fast, distant. I just wanted to wish you, I said. Oh, thanks, she replied. Then, after a pause, I'll call you later, okay? She didn't. That night, I finally accepted something no mother wants to accept. My child wasn't angry with me. She was indifferent. Anger means you still care. Indifference means you've already let go. Days turned into months. Months into years. My health started failing quietly, like everything else in my life. Joint pain, dizziness, a cough that never fully left. The doctor asked, Who stays with you? I laughed. It came out sharper than I expected. I do, I said. He nodded like he understood. He didn't. One evening, while cleaning old cupboards, I found her school notebooks. Pages filled with her handwriting. My mother is my hero. When I grow up, I will buy my mother a big house. I pressed those pages to my chest and slid down onto the floor. Where did that child go? What did I do wrong? Did I love her too much? Or not enough? I replayed my life like a film with no pause button. Every scolding, every sacrifice, every time I said no because I was trying to protect her. Maybe I became a chapter she wanted to forget. One night, my chest started hurting. A deep, heavy pain. I thought of calling her. I didn't. Because what if she didn't answer again? Pain is easier to handle than rejection. I sat there, breathing slowly, telling myself it would pass. It did. But something else passed with it. Hope. After that, I stopped expecting anything. I stopped checking my phone. I stopped waiting by the door when footsteps passed outside. I started preparing myself for a future that had no place for her. Then, one afternoon, something happened. The kind of thing life does when you think you've already lost everything. There was a knock at my door. Not loud, not urgent, just a knock. I froze. No one knocks anymore. For a moment, I thought I imagined it. Then it came again. My heart started beating in a way it hadn't in years. I walked slowly, afraid that if I hurried, the sound would disappear. I opened the door, and there she was. Older, thinner, different. My daughter, standing in front of me like a stranger who knew my address. For a second, neither of us spoke. Her eyes filled with tears. Mine didn't, because some tears get tired of coming out. She opened her mouth as if to say something, and that's where I'll stop, because what she said next changed everything. She stood there, waiting, not like a daughter who had come home, but like someone asking permission to enter a place they once owned. The silence between us was heavy, thicker than anger, heavier than love. Finally, she spoke. "Amma, can I come in?" Her voice shook. I stepped aside, not because my heart opened, but because my body remembered her before my mind could stop it. She walked in slowly, looking around the house as if she was seeing it for the first time. The cracked walls, the old clock, the sofa with the torn corner she used to jump on as a child. Nothing had changed, except us. She sat down, carefully, like the furniture might break under her. "I didn't know how to come," she said softly. "I didn't know what to say." I stayed standing. Mothers stand when their children speak, even when the child has forgotten that. She kept talking, words spilling out in pieces. I was busy. Life became fast. "I thought you were strong. I thought you understood." I watched her lips move, but my mind was somewhere else. It was in the nights I waited, the calls she didn't return, the festivals I spent alone. "I sent money," she added quickly, like it was proof of something. That's when something inside me stirred. Not anger, clarity. "Sit," I said. She looked relieved. I sat across from her, folding my hands in my lap like I used to when elders visited. "You sent money," I repeated. "Yes." I nodded slowly. "Do you know," I asked, "how many nights I slept holding your childhood photos instead of my phone?" She swallowed. "Do you know how many times I practiced your name so I wouldn't forget how to say it out loud?" Her eyes dropped. "I didn't want your money," I continued, my voice calm and tired. "I wanted your time, even 5 minutes." She started crying. Not loud, not dramatic. The quiet kind of crying that comes when excuses finally collapse. "I thought you were okay," she whispered. "You never complained." I smiled then, a small, broken smile. "Mothers don't complain," I said. "They disappear silently." That sentence hung in the air. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold back either. Her hand felt unfamiliar, like holding a memory. "I'm sorry," she said again and again. "I'm so sorry." I believed her. That's the most dangerous thing about a mother's heart. It always believes. She stayed the night. She slept in her old room. I lay awake listening to her breathing through the wall, afraid that if I slept, she would vanish again. In the morning, she made tea. Too much sugar. Just like when she was younger. She laughed nervously. "Some things don't change, right?" I nodded. But many things had. Over the next few days, she came more often. She called sometimes. She asked about my medicines. People noticed. Neighbors smiled. "She's come back," they said. I smiled too. But inside, something was cautious. Because once you've been forgotten, you're afraid of being remembered only temporarily. One afternoon, she sat across from me, twisting her fingers. "I need to tell you something," she said. My heart tightened. Important sentences always begin like that. She took a deep breath. "I lost my job." The words fell heavy. "I tried to manage on my own," she continued. "I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to look weak." I closed my eyes for a moment. So that's what brought her back. Not love. Need. I opened my eyes. "I see," I said. "I don't want money," she added quickly. I need time to think. I needed a place that feels safe." Safe. The word echoed. I had always been her safety net, even when she cut it away. "You can stay," I said, "because that's what mothers do." That night, I didn't sleep. I sat by the window, watching shadows move. I asked myself a question I had avoided for years. If she gets back on her feet, will she stay? Or will I be forgotten again? Days passed. She started going out, meeting people, taking calls in another room. The house filled with sound again, but not with warmth. One evening, I overheard her talking on the phone. Yes, once I settle, I'll move closer to work," she said. "No, it's just temporary here." Temporary. The word cut deeper than any insult. I walked back to my room quietly. That night, my chest hurt again. But this time, it wasn't just physical. It was realization. She hadn't come back because she remembered me. She came back because the world had pushed her out, and I was still convenient. The next morning, I made a decision. A hard one. A mother's hardest decision. Because love without dignity is just slow suffering. When she came home that evening, smiling like nothing was wrong, I asked her to sit. She did. I took a deep breath and said the words I had never imagined saying to my own child. "Tomorrow, you should start looking for another place." Her smile disappeared. "Amma." My hands shook, but my voice didn't. "I raised you with love," I said. "But I won't raise your guilt." Her eyes filled with shock. And that's where I'll pause, because what happened after that was not what either of us expected. For a moment, she didn't speak. She just stared at me like I had spoken in a language she didn't understand. "Amma, what are you saying?" she asked, her voice cracking. "This is my home." I nodded slowly. "Yes," I said, "it was." When you remembered it. Her face tightened, not in anger, in fear, because for the first time in her life, I wasn't rescuing her. "I don't mean leave today," I continued, softer now. "I mean don't make this your backup plan. Don't stay here until your life improves, and then forget me again." She stood up. "I never forgot you," she said loudly. The walls heard it. So did the years. I looked at her, really looked at her. "Then tell me," I asked quietly, "when was the last time you missed me, when you didn't need something?" She opened her mouth, closed it, sat back down. Silence filled the room again. But this time, it wasn't empty. It was honest. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I didn't know how to face you, she whispered. Every time I thought of calling, I remembered how much you did for me, and I felt ashamed. I sighed. Shame doesn't disappear by running away, I said. It grows. She covered her face. I thought sending money was enough, she cried. I thought that's what responsibility looked like. I reached for her hand then, not to comfort her, to ground her. Responsibility is presence, I said, not payment. That night we talked, not like mother and child, like two women wounded by the same distance. She told me about her loneliness in the city, the pressure to look successful, the fear of being seen as a failure. I was so busy surviving, she said. I didn't realize I was losing you. I listened, because listening is something mothers never forget how to do. In the morning, she packed her bag. Slowly, each folded cloth felt like a question. Where will you go? I asked. To a friend's place for now, she said. I need to figure out who I am, without running. I nodded. At the door, she stopped. I don't want to lose you, she said. I looked at her. You never lost me, I replied. You just stopped choosing me. She hugged me then, not for 10 seconds, for a long time. Her arms felt different now, not careless, intentional. When she left, the house became quiet again. But this time, it wasn't empty. It was peaceful. Weeks passed. She called. Not often, but regularly. Sometimes just to say, "Did you eat?" Sometimes to complain about life. I didn't chase. I didn't beg. I let her come to me. Slowly, carefully. One afternoon, she visited. No gifts, no guilt, just herself. She cleaned the kitchen without being asked. She sat with me without checking her phone. At sunset, she said something I had waited years to hear. I miss you, even when I don't need you. My eyes filled. I didn't hide it this time. Time taught her something distance never could. That love is not a memory you store away. It's a relationship you maintain. Today, she still lives separately. She has her life. I have mine. But now, she comes because she wants to, not because she has to. And I learned something too. That loving a child doesn't mean disappearing for them. It means teaching them how not to disappear from you. If you're listening to this, and there's a mother somewhere waiting for your call, call her. Not tomorrow. Not when you're free. Not when you need something. Call her because one day, her phone will be silent forever. And regret has no return call.